Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing The Sixth Sense. So The Sixth Sense came out in 1999 and was directed by M. Night Shyamalan and stars Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment. Haley Joel Osment plays a young boy called Cole, and Cole is a character who feels very isolated and very self-conscious, and he really struggles to interact with the other kids at school. And we have his mother, who's played by Toni Collette, and she's very worried about him. So she wants him to see a psychiatrist. Then we have Bruce Willis's character, who is Dr. Malcolm Crowe. And Dr. Malcolm Crowe has been struggling with the relationship with his wife recently. He and his wife have been drifting apart. And Dr. Malcolm Crowe, his career has taken a slight downfall and has been struggling. So he takes on the case of Cole and tries to help him out with his life and his struggles. So I'll start off by saying that this is a very mysterious and dark film, and I think it's excellent actually. So M. Night Shyamalan directs this, and M. Night Shyamalan is a director who is known for doing mysterious films with twists and turns, and this was really one of his first big films, although he had previously done another film before this which wasn't particularly successful, and then went on to do lots of other films as well, but this is his best one. And in terms of the acting is actually very good. So Haley Joel Osment, only being a young boy, obviously he gives a really good performance in this film. I don't see an actor, I see a character. I see a real person in this role when he's playing Cole. He really gives an excellent performance, and just every bit of dialogue, the way he talks is just so convincing that he's a child who is isolated and confused and is struggling. I also have to say Toni Collette as the mother also gives an excellent performance, but it's really Bruce Willis who is quite surprising in this film, because obviously Bruce Willis famously played John McClane in the Die Hard movies, where he was an action star, very witty and quite funny. In this film, Bruce Willis plays a very serious, straight sort of character, and he does it very well. It was a bit unusual at the time to see Bruce Willis take on this type of role, but he really fits in very well, and he proves that he is a very good actor and very good in these sorts of more serious roles as well. So there's a very iconic scene in this film where Haley Joel Osment's character Cole, he says the phrase, "I see dead people." And what he means is he can essentially see ghosts walking around like real people, and he can see dead people walking around in his house with blood falling from them, and nobody else can see this. So he's really worried about this and, wants some help from it. And the overall tone of this film is really good with dealing it, because it's dark and it sort of shows glimpses here and there, and there are a few bits a few jump scares which are all done very well, very subtle, but they come out of nowhere and are just at the right time. And it's one of those things that makes this a very good horror film, although it's not a gross out horror film. There's not necessarily loads of blood in it. It is, I would probably say it's more of a thriller than a horror, though if you view it as a horror film, you might be a bit disappointed, because it takes a bit of a while for some of the scarier scenes to come in, though there are a few hints earlier on. The film does build up quite nicely. Maybe it does take a little bit while to get going sometimes, but it's certainly worth the payoff. Now, this is one of those films that has a twist at the end of it, and the twist to this film is arguably one of the most famous movie twists of all time. So if you haven't seen the film and you don't know what the twist is, my advice would be to watch this film as soon as you can. So don't look at any reviews, don't talk to people about the film, because the odds are they'll probably tell you what the twist is. So it'll be excellent just to watch this film without knowing the twist and see what you think of the twist at the end of the film. Now, unfortunately, I've seen this film a few times, and before the first time I watched it, I actually already knew what the twist was, which was a bit of a shame, because I couldn't view it without knowing what the twist was. So it's difficult for me to say, would I have worked out what the twist was if I hadn't have known it? To be honest, my instinct was no, I probably wouldn't have worked it out, but the twist does make sense. And when you want a good twist in a film, you want it to have the right balance of logic and surprise. So on the one hand, you want to have it make sense within the context of the film. and on the other hand you want it to be a big surprise and something that you didn't see coming. And this twist works very well. It really makes you think about everything you've seen in the film looking back, and perhaps even makes lots of people want to view it a second time and see that yes, there are lots of hints throughout the film which do make sense in the context of the twist. One thing that I do think is a bit of a shame is that with the director of this film, M. Night Shyamalan, although this film I think is brilliant, he did go on to do lots of other films which weren't as successful and weren't as well received. So he did other films like Signs and Unbreakable, which I think are pretty good films, though not as good as this. Then he's also done lots of other films. Now, I haven't necessarily seen a lot of his other films like The Happening and The Last Airbender, but those films are apparently, I've heard, meant to be really terrible. So it is a bit of a shame when you have a film director whose reputation is tarnished by so many bad films. But try not to let that put you off with this, because this is a film on its own. It's an excellent mystery film, and I really like the twist of it. It's an excellent payoff, and the acting is phenomenal actually, especially Toni Collette as the worried mother. She really gives an excellent performance. You can really tell she really fears for her child, and she has a few excellent scenes in this film. We also get a small appearance by Donnie Wahlberg, and he plays one of Malcolm's ex-patients. Although it's quite a small role, his performance is actually quite haunting and does leave a mark on the rest of the film. Regarding this film, I reckon if you're someone that likes mystery films and you like a film with a twist at the end, definitely watch this. If you don't know what the twist is, as I said, watch it as soon as you can, because if you already know what the twist is going into this film, you are going to view it differently than if you don't know the twist. So I would love to know if any of you guys have seen this without knowing the twist, and what do you think of it? I think it's an excellent film twist, one of the best film twists, one of the most iconic, and I think this film is a brilliant film altogether. Brilliant horror slash thriller slash mystery film. It really is excellent, and yes, I'd recommend it. So I'm going to give The Sixth Sense a rating of 9 out of 10. Definitely worth a watch for most people. So that is it. So that is my review of The Sixth Sense. So once again, please let me know what you guys think. Whether you like the film or whether you hate it, I would like to know. Please comment below. Anyway, thanks all very much for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.